What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I've been wanting to do this video for a little bit, and I've done videos similar to this as far as who I think is going to make the playoffs, and to be honest, not much changed. So, like, making another video doesn't, of who's going to make the playoffs. I still have the same teams essentially getting in, but I wanted to do a deep dive on each team and why I think they get in and why they don't. This will also help us tremendously going forward as far as who needs to win in these following weeks. So, obviously, we can't do every single team. My phone data cannot take care of that. Yeah, Angler, I'm mad we won. So this person, I just want to point out how funny. This is like the fifth person like this we've gotten. I have them all memorized by name, by the way. But there's more than five. But there's always one like this guy. And he's commenting that I'm angry that the Packers won. So clearly he didn't see us predict that the Packers were going to cover. And clearly, he doesn't see that we profited from that. And then he said, I just made the video because I'm mad that my team lost. So it's just funny. We have 157 videos. We've probably been attacking and defending each team at some point. So I love seeing videos like that. I'm guessing it's like the first time he saw a video of mine. But again, it's kind of funny because in the video, I'm actually picking the Packers. So I find that interesting. So anyway, I want to go into the Miami Dolphins' path to the playoff because I thought that was a good team to go with. And that's what I want to do. I want to start doing teams' paths to the playoff just to see what it would take. And I thought it would be interesting. Now, one thing I did want to go into is, if you might have not seen, I made a video earlier today on some college plays, and we did really well. We split the Drake plays. I played Drake to cover and to go over. We got one of two, but we caught UConn here, and the reason we caught them is they were undefeated against the spread. That does not hold. And furthermore, to the gematria goons that say I never use gematria, I use it when it's obvious. I don't go out of my way to look for it. They are now 1-1-1-1 against the spread. They love getting that 1-1-1-1 in there. They did it with the Texans. And Louisville, I was going to take because they're so bad against the spread, and I always take teams that are bad against the spread. But I noticed they would go to 1-1-1, so we faded them. So same metric, but since we used more than just gematria, we used numerology and metrics and other things, we hit. We also did well in the NBA. Right now, Fresno's looking pretty good. We have them with 6 points. I put that in my Discord. And another one, they're 1-8 against the spread. NBA is looking pretty good. I just wanted to recap real quick before we went into the NFL real quick, because I always like to recap for anyone that might have missed a video. So Wizards not only covered, but they won. That's great. We had them +7. Money line looked nice too, but I always take the spreads. Knicks on a leg 2 came through for us, and we had the Heat did not, nor did the Pistons, but they're just leg 1, so that's okay. And Nuggets are looking really good. So wanted to get that done with all the recap, why I went into some games, and then just again, it's all about closing out sequences. So let's do the Miami Dolphins. I'm doing Dolphins because I want to do like the Browns and stuff, some teams that are fun, but I wanted to do a realistic one and a one that I think a lot of people would like to see. So Green Bay is playing Miami, right? Okay, cool. I'm glad you're in the Discord, and yeah, I'll get into that, Larry. I know we were talking about the Bills. I'm curious your opinion on that too, because it should be interesting what they do with them in the Niners. So it's funny you comment that. I think you'll like this video. So here, what we're going to do is just look at the Dolphins' path to the playoffs and why I think they are playoff bound. Let's say Aaron Rodgers wins, and let's even say the Jets win. I think that's being very, very favorable to the Dolphins, and we'll give the Patriots the win. We're basically giving teams that are hanging around the Dolphins all wins, okay? Now we move to week 17. The Dolphins are like on a 4-something game losing streak at this point. And again, we're going to let the Patriots beat them, okay? I do think the Bills win this game. They're pushing the Bengals pretty hard. But most of these don't matter too much. We'll give the Browns the win, and we will entertain the Jets by giving them the win. Now we get to week 18, and we have Miami at home. And at this point, I think the Dolphins win. This would be like a 6-game losing streak, and I'm giving other teams wins they shouldn't have. Bills, I could be really, ridiculous and give it to the Patriots, but, the Bills are going to win this game. And the Patriots are not going to beat the Dolphins, Bills, and then Jets in that order. So I've been as fair as I could without being ridiculous. We can give this one to the Ravens because they're more of a wild card threat. So you can see I'm doing everything I can to basically give the wild card teams wins and teams that are competitive with the Dolphins wins. And if you look, they still get in the playoffs just by... Now, of course, I threw off things a little bit because I didn't look at the other games. I literally just went with AFC teams, and Miami gets in the playoffs with them basically losing out and just beating the Jets in the final week. Now, sure, some other things can happen. I have the Jets beating the Seahawks. I have the Chargers. There's not much else I can do outside of literally giving the Patriots a win over the Bills. And even that doesn't do it. So when we see that, that's the stuff the NFL, they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know ahead of time teams pass to the playoffs. So that helps us a lot. Why does that help us? Well, now we know, Green Bay could win this game. They needed a lot more than Miami. And we also know, should Miami win, they're basically a lock for the playoffs. Now, I wanted, to go with Miami because they're one of those teams that's right in the middle of everything. So I thought it's one that people want to see. A lot of people are curious if they're going to get that 7 seed. And I think Tua plays good against the Packers. But to keep it interesting, now, I'm going to do the Packers one because believe it or not, we can get this result, Packers lose, and they get in. So I'll probably do the Packers next, but I wanted to do like a series where we just knock each team. But yeah, the Dolphins, like I said, as you can see, with all of this going their way, I gave the Ravens a win. I gave literally everybody that's a threat to them a win. Nothing going the Dolphins' way, and they still get in, and I found that quite interesting. Even when I gave the Patriots the win over them, they still got in. So I do have the Ravens getting in, not as a 3 seed. You see the Bengals and Ravens switched. That was just because I gave the Ravens a bunch of wins they're probably not going to get, just because they're a threat to the Dolphins, and I wanted to prove that even with other teams winning, like the Ravens, Browns, all these teams, Chargers, the Dolphins are still getting in the playoffs. So now that we know that, it helps us a lot, doesn't it? Because now we know week 18, Dolphins aren't going to be playing for a playoff spot. It's going to be the Jets playing for a playoff spot. So that's going to help us in 2 days in a day and 30 minutes, when we have the Jets play the Jags. Now we know, the Jets need to win a little more than they did, but we also know that the Jets need to be in striking distance, right? So when they play the Dolphins in Week 18, there's no way that these teams aren't going to be playing for a playoff berth. But at the same time, the Jets can't be so good that both teams are already in the playoffs. Same with the Dolphins. So knowing all of this, in my opinion, that they're going to make the playoffs anyway, things like that, makes it where I believe, say they do beat the Packers, then I really like the Patriots to beat the Dolphins because they need to make it interesting. Jets to beat the Seahawks, or if the Dolphins lose, then the Jets can lose. We did this with the NFC South. We had the entire NFC South winning, and instead the entire NFC South lost. I probably should have saw that coming. But it kept them all one game apart. They're doing that in all the divisions. But yeah, I thought I'd go into the Dolphins. I would normally have hit the entire division. The thing is, again, it's going to take me a while to hit all 4, and I'm not sure my phone data can handle it. It usually seems to tap out around 10 minutes. So, the Patriots, Jets are all right in it. Bills are winning the division. We know that. So I was going to go into the Jets next to see if they can get in as well. Like I said, I do think this is going to be for who gets in, but there's always that chance of the Jets. So I'll be doing other teams and their path. We can do the Jets' path next to see what they would need to get in. It's nothing crazy, but I just wanted to do the Dolphins first because I think that one reveals a lot of other games, especially because they play the Packers and then the Jets. And if you look at the teams that they play, it's just, Packers play the Lions. It's just really Jets play the Jags play the Titans. You can see the domino effect. And if we can just get kind of an idea on a few of these games, just a few of the divisions, it's going to help us. So that's the first, decree I am making is the Dolphins will be the wild card seed. I know a lot of people are expecting it to be Ravens Chargers. Could happen. I could be wrong. But yeah, Dolphins wild card seed. If you want to make that play, they're pretty close to even odds. Last I checked, they were a little on the minus because even though they lost, everybody else lost. So the Chargers were really the only team that came up on them. So yeah, I wanted to do this going forward. As you could tell, they have a lot of games on the road, and then they're at home against the Jets. So I think it's and the Jets are going to go down to sunny Florida, where I live. By the way, it's going to be about 95 degrees. Nah, it's actually chillier now, but it's still going to be like 70 degrees. I think on when they play. So I do think it's very interesting how all these games lined up. And again, just like I said from the beginning, with the Blazers, Knicks, and the NBA, with our calls here with the NFC East, all these different calls we've made, future bets and future picks, they can be very profitable. I know you have to wait on them, but I do like the Dolphins a lot here, as you can see, even with all that. And what I like to look at here is the chart. So you see when they beat the Jets, they would finish one game ahead of them, and if the Patriots they're one game ahead. So you could just see how close the division finishes out with that scenario, and that's just what I think happens. So and who wouldn't want to see Dolphins Chiefs or Dolphins Bills or whoever, that's probably who they get matched up against, because people would love to see Tyreek Hill go against his old team. So you can see how a lot of these kind of are already set up as nice matches. They do that on purpose. And I'm not saying the Chargers get in, the Ravens get in, the Packers get in. Again, I just ran this crude simulation for the Dolphins, and I'll be doing it for every other team, or at least every team in the hunt. But again, my picks for the actual playoffs for the rest of the teams. But I wanted to do this one at a time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to go more into depth, so hopefully maybe we can start hitting like two teams at a time if it's easier. But for now, since the Dolphins are a trickier one with a lot of ramifications with their games, I wanted to go into them specifically and why I think they are 100% playoff bound. And then just to top it off for tonight, we finished really well. We closed another 5-6 sequences. So between yesterday and today, that's over 10, I think 10, over 15 since Saturday. And the best thing is we closed out a couple leg 2, leg 3s. We closed out the Blazers. Toledo was leg 2. Georgetown came through. I went into that earlier in the video. Knicks came through on a leg 2. Heat was only a leg 1 loss. And we got the Nuggets in play. We'll have to see how they finish. So we have Pels. We got a leg 3 on. And I think we have a leg 2 on the Cardinals. So there's a couple, but we closed most of our sequences. And like I said, even if we were to lose a 3-leg sequence, we would be in the profit by a lot. And I'm just talking from Saturday till now. I believe we're up 241 units since we started. I'm updating that in the Discord. But as far as just from Saturday, because again, I know a lot of people were just joining. You can see this is just from when I did the UAB Troy game. And just from then until now, even if we were to lose a 3-legged sequence, which I don't think we will, especially knowing some of the things we do about some of these games, we would be up about 10 units. Assuming we don't, we're up about 20, 30 units. And again, that's just in a few days. We did it last week too. And that's not to brag or anything. That's because there's a lot of these channels that they promise things or they point out obvious things, but they don't do it in live time. And that's the only reason I made the playlist and did this in live time. And the playoffs, I've made many of these because I want people to see that, I'm not just pointing out after the fact or during. Anybody can watch, it's a long one, the playlist, and see everything we've did in lifetime to get where we're at today, to see how we've done so well as far as just 23x, I think is the exact number right now. I'd have to check from 180 where we started, and just been over the target on most of these teams. So yeah, I hope you guys, again, enjoyed this. If you're a Dolphins fan, I'm sure you did. And let me know what team you want me to go into next. Preferably one that is not obvious like the Bengals or something. I'd like to go into one that might not be so obvious. As you know, I have the Raiders making the playoffs. So as you can see in this particular bracket, they're not in there. But again, that's because for the sake of argument, to play devil's advocate, I just literally had every threat lose in the AFC. Dolphins still get in. So yeah, take that into account if you're looking at a future bet for playoff teams. They're probably not going to be getting the best odds, but they're almost a certainty. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.